Hello, everybody. It is 1:01. It is Wednesday. This is Chattin with CHAP, and I am your host, Ginger Wade. I'm a little bit one-sided on my face here today because there's no sunshine outside because it's all rain. How about the rest of you? Full of rain? Yes, it is raining. It's not in my basement yet, though, so that's a positive. But yes, it is raining and raining and raining. So I have my little light on it. It tends to make me a little bit yellow. So anyway, I'm glad to have you here with me today. Today we're going to talk about freedom and homeschooling. And yeah, we're going to talk about freedom and liberty. Really, really, really good stuff. First, I'm going to pop up a link here to our quick start guide to homeschooling. I'm sure y'all are paying attention to the news. And there's more and more people thinking about homeschooling, and a lot of people that aren't quite sure how to get started or what to do. So those of you who are veterans out there, share this link. I'm going to pop it up again. Share this link with people that you know are really interested in learning more about homeschooling. And or if you are watching and you are not a veteran homeschooler and you need to know more about homeschooling, there's a link. Go check out our quick start guide. It gives you a lot of helpful starts for knowing how to homeschool. The other thing I was going to share with you, which goes right along with freedom and homeschooling, is my family, my kids and I just finished reading this book about William Penn yesterday. It's a YWAM book. I don't know how familiar you guys are with YWAM books. They have lots of great missionary books. This is their Heroes of History series. I know it's backwards. I never flip it around, but William Penn was astounding, and we Pennsylvanians can thank our lucky stars, and well, just thank God, really, because that's where it comes from, not our lucky stars, that we had William Penn. What a man, and what he suffered, and what he created here in Pennsylvania. And the most awesome thing about it is it not only did he lay the foundation for how things were going to be governed and function in Pennsylvania, but they ended up modeling our U.S. Government after it too. So just amazing and astounding things. So I highly encourage you to study William Penn. Learn more about him other than, oh, we named Pennsylvania after him, Penn's Woods. You know, there's more to his story than that. Susan Kimmerer also has a really great Keystones curriculum about Pennsylvania. Just study it. Learn it. It is some seriously good stuff. So, okay, let's jump into our topic for the day, freedom and homeschooling. So, there is freedom and liberty in home education. Okay? Home education is otherwise known as homeschool. Sometimes we don't like to use the word school because, it has that connotation of, desks and rows and, whatever. Home education, if you prefer to use that term. In Pennsylvania, we are highly regulated. I mean, if you look at HSLDA's little chart of the United States and you see the shaded colors, we're one of the dark ones because we're more highly regulated. There's a lot of hoops to jump through in Pennsylvania. However, it's not all that difficult to actually comply with homeschool law in Pennsylvania. Even though we are a highly regulated state, we are blessed with a lot more freedom than public school parents in their children's education. So I touched on this last week when I was answering questions, and I'm going to talk about it again today. So as a homeschool supervisor, you have the freedom to choose a bunch of different things. One of them is when you're going to homeschool. You do not have to homeschool from 8 to 3 like the public school does. You can homeschool at night and on the weekends if you're a single parent, or if the two of you have to work full-time jobs. You do not have to school during the day. You can also choose what you're going to learn. Just because you're in 9th grade or 10th grade doesn't mean you have to be doing biology and geometry or whatever. The law gives some guidelines that you can read on homeschoolpennsylvania.org. But really, it's not laid out what your student is supposed to learn when, or if they even have to have biology and chemistry. So you get to choose. That's a freedom in homeschooling. You get to choose what your child is going to learn. You get to choose who is going to teach your child. It could be you as a supervisor. You could hire a tutor. You could go to a co-op. You could send your child to a college to dual enroll as a senior high student. There's lots of options on who is going to teach. Now, you can choose where is the teaching going to happen in your house. If it's a co-op, are you going to go to a co-op? Going to go to a college? Going to go, this goes, if you're hiring a tutor, you're going to where the tutor is. You choose that, but that's your choice as a parent to choose how that works. You get to choose how it's going to happen. Is it going to be online? Is it going to be books? Is it going to be textbooks? Is it going to be novels, living history, historical fiction, audio books? How is your child going to learn? Now, you do give up some of those freedoms if you're going to choose a co-op class or a college class or a tutor. You do lose some of those freedoms in those choices because in a co-op class, they're going to choose a curriculum and a book, or some are going to choose an online curriculum. And that's what, if you want to be in that class, in that co-op, that's what you need to do. So you see, like, as you give away freedoms, it is your choice how much freedom you want to have in your homeschool. The last one is you choose why. What is your ultimate goal in teaching your children? What is it that you want them to learn? Our ultimate goal that overarches everything in our homeschool is that our children would love and follow Jesus and invite Jesus into every corner of their lives, every tiny little bit. And that is what we are training our children to do. The academics is great. Life skills, very important. All these things, very important. But ultimately, we want our kids to love Jesus. So your goal, it's your goal. So those are the freedoms you have in homeschooling. You don't have those freedoms if you're sending your kids to somewhere else for school. So that is a huge picture of the freedom in homeschool there. Now, let me share liberty. The definition of liberty is the condition of being free from oppressive restriction or control by a government or other power. And freedom is the condition of being free of restraints, especially the ability to act without control or interference by another or circumstances. So what does that mean? What is liberty in homeschooling? So homeschooling is educational liberty. Like I said before, you get to call the shots. No one is telling you what to do. No one is saying you can or cannot do that. You get to choose the curriculum. You get to choose the time. You get to choose the how. You just need to fill out some paperwork and drop it into the school. The school district doesn't even get to tell you if you can homeschool or not. They do not have that jurisdiction over you. You file the affidavit, boom, you've got the liberty. There it is, okay? So we might not have as much freedom as other states. In fact, that some states, you don't even have to tell anybody that you're homeschooling. You just do it. They don't even need to know that you have children. In Pennsylvania, there's some paperwork to file. However, even though we do have those things to do, there's still way more liberty in homeschool than there is in any other school choice. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now where parents are really frustrated because they feel like they don't have choice. Homeschooling gives you the choice. It's the option with the most choice. So we as an organization, CHAP, this comes up all the time. It's coming up again. I heard that the government is trying to work out some sort of bill where homeschoolers can get money. They can get scholarships or whatever from the government, taxpayer money. And a lot of people who are new to homeschooling are like, well, yeah, I'm got to put out money for curriculum and all this stuff. Of course I should get money to homeschool my kid. We as an organization always say, don't take the government money, because no matter what they say, there's always strings attached. Have you ever read Uncle Carl's Whatever Happened to Penny Candy? And in there he says there's no such thing as a free lunch. Someone's paying for it somewhere. There's no such thing as free money. It's taxpayer money. It's coming from us, going to the government, and they're shuffling it around and giving it back to people or organizations or whatever. Okay? There's always strings attached. They may say, oh, you can have this money for homeschool. And then years later, they'll be like, well, you can't use that curriculum, or you can't do that, or you have to make sure you do this thing. So, and by that time, what we're concerned with is that we will grow so used to having that government money that we'll think we can't homeschool without it. And that's where you give up your freedom. That's where you give up your liberty. You're giving it away so you can have that money. Money drives a lot of stuff like that, right? Money takes a lot of freedom and liberties away because people think they need it. There's so many ways that you can homeschool for free. And we've talked about those before. Here's my quick start guide again. I'll pop it up. So that's one of the ways that you want to keep your freedom by not accepting government money. So liberty in homeschooling, it doesn't mean that you have license to do whatever you want. So, we think of licenses, you just run off and you're wild and whatever, it doesn't matter. You can be lazy. You don't need to train your children. That is not what liberty in homeschooling means. When you have liberty, this concept of liberty, there is an implication or a requirement of self-government. If you want to keep your liberty, you need to govern yourself. And that's kind of the problem with what's happening in the United States is there are fewer people as the generations go on who want to have that responsibility for themselves of self-government. So our U.S. government, based on William Penn and the Pennsylvania government, was set up for a moral, self-governing people who valued biblical principles. Okay? Not all of them were Christian. I do know that. But most of them did value the morality taught in scriptures. They did value the laws given in scripture. They did see the value of it, of creating a moral society and living by those things. And living by that is self-government, self-control, right? I'm controlling myself so I can keep the liberty to choose things for myself and my family. So if you want to learn more about the founders and their belief systems, you can check out Dave Barton at Wall Builders. Great information about, there's so much out there about our founders and their beliefs and that type of thing. But David Barton, he's a good resource for that. So going back to self-government, it is self-control. You function well, you function properly without others controlling you. Okay, so in homeschool, that's your liberty. You have the liberty to train your children however you want to do it. But you have the self-control to keep doing it. You have the self-control to step forward, even when it's hard. We're going to keep stepping forward. We might switch it up today because you need to, and you have freedom to do that. But you're still being responsible and training your children, right? So, in keeping liberty and self-control, it's when you're submitted to God and His guidance, like I said earlier about the United States government and biblical principles, it's easier to do. It's easier to continue to have that self-control and self-government. So liberty and freedom of homeschool comes with the responsibility of accomplishing good purposes in your children and in you. So you have that liberty to make choices for your kids, but that gives you a responsibility to make sure you keep training your kids. So you train your kids in good character. You train them in academics, so they have knowledge. They can read, they can do math, so they don't get swindled, right? They can keep a checkbook. Well, does anyone keep a checkbook anymore? I know I do, but some people don't. Anyway, life skills, how to do dishes, laundry, keep a house, all of those things. All these things you can educate according to abilities and interests and talents. That's all within the liberty and freedom of homeschooling. But those are the responsibilities of accomplishing good things with your kids that comes with the liberty to homeschool, the liberty of homeschooling, okay? So doing these things takes that self-government I was talking about, and it puts that on the parent. So the parent, you guys are teaching your kids that self-government, right? They discipline themselves to get their work done so they can have free time and how that all works out, okay? That stick-to-itiveness. Liberty does not mean it's easy. It doesn't mean it's a cakewalk, but it does mean that you get the most choice and you get the most say in what you're going to do in your children's education. So homeschooling, hands down, freest form of education available out there. So parents, embrace the liberty. Don't be afraid of it. I hear so many people considering homeschooling or just getting started and you're terrified and you don't think you can do it. You can do it, and embrace the choices. Embrace the choices. I encourage you to not use the school's curriculum. If you can't buy one, easy peasy's free. Homeschooling on a shoestring. There's .com. There's other places to go for free curriculum. Embrace the liberty. Embrace the freedom you have to educate your children the way you can. You can do it. And it's a wonderful place to preserve your freedoms. We're losing them. We're losing the freedoms. Keep this freedom. Keep this educational freedom. Be brave. Take up the responsibility. You can do it. Your kids, I hear this so often, your kids' best day at school will be worse than your worst day at homeschool. So your worst day at homeschool is better than the best day at public school. Why? Because they're with you. Because they're learning the way they can learn. And they're on like the ratio, right? The student-teacher ratio is really excellent at home, right? All those things that have been studied, right? They've been studied, and it shows that a smaller student-teacher ratio is good. Well, there you go. Homeschools are really great. Student-teacher ratio. So educate yourselves on homeschool. You can check out the quick start guide that I have right there. Go out to homeschoolpennsylvania.org, read up, binge watch my other Chat with CHAP episodes. You can do it. Okay, you can do it. School free. Read articles, talk to people, get in groups, talk to people, learn how they do it. But embrace the freedom, homeschoolers, and share with others the freedom. I think right now a lot of us are desiring freedom and we're looking for it. And I tell you what, this is a way to go. And then you can read really great books like this that teach you about our wonderful state and how it was created and all that was suffered to make our state exist. It's quite a story. It is quite a story. And I am very, very thankful to be a Pennsylvanian. And I'm very thankful to have freedom in homeschool, to make choices. And you know what? The freedom to make mistakes. You know what? I'm going to make mistakes. And you know what? We're all going to learn from it. And it's going to be good. And it's going to be good. So Tamara posted, I started homeschooling my 6-year-old halfway through last school year, and I'm homeschooling again. Yay! For first grade starting now, but I'm unsure about what curriculum and methods to use for him, as he has some special needs. I will spedhomeschool.com, I think it is, Tamara. spedhomeschool.com has special needs resources. I will message you on the side about that, or if you want to message us here, send us a Facebook Messenger thing so we can kind of converse back and forth that way. That would be really great. But spedhomeschool.com will get you basically started there. But HSLDA also has some really great homeschool with special needs resources. They have folks that can walk you through things. Sorry, I bumped my phone. Tomorrow. So hopefully I will put that in the comments too when I'm done. So you can go check it out. But thank you for posting. I'm so glad you're sticking to it. It is the best choice. It is the best choice. So enjoy the freedom, everyone. Enjoy the rain. And I will see you back here next Wednesday. Bye now.